Okay, so a lot of people ask, what do I do in my training now that I'm training on the court? And so based on one of the videos the other day, I talked about how I need to modify my impact loading. So basically, some days the weight room might be more impactful from a literal standpoint, like the amount of velocity and eccentric loading I'm going through, and some days might be much less. Today's a much less impactful day. I'm doing different shrug pulls here, working on my hinge with my glutes. I actually probably went too heavy a little bit today. Back was a little bit sore the next day. I'll go lighter next time. And I paired that with these rocker jumps. So with the rocker jumps here, I'm not doing any preloading with my feet. I'm hitting the ground and exploding up. And I'm jumping onto a box, a soft box, trying to reduce some of that eccentric loading. So I'm not falling from a large height and hitting the ground. I'm landing and taking away some of that impact. So I did this for about 4 to 6 rounds. Totally up to you based on the intensity that you're going with. 2 to 4 jumps based on how it felt. And that was the majority of my workouts. But the majority is not the entirety of it. So after that, I did want to do some higher velocity work. I did some snatches from pins. So basically, the way this setup works is I have this at the same height I did my shrug pulls. But now I'm doing a snatch. I'm exploding up overhead. It's a higher velocity movement. You don't need to do an Olympic movement. The idea of this is pretty simple. Trying to work on high velocity hinge patterns. That's it. If I had a medicine ball, you could use that. If you wanted to use a trap bar with more of a hinge dominant, you could do that as well. It's totally up to you. But again, I'm doing this to reduce the impact loading. So instead of doing a high velocity RDL, or maybe something where I'm jumping forward repeatedly, or whatever weightlifting exercise involves a high velocity eccentric movement, I decided not to do that with load today. I did incorporate some torso deceleration that you're gonna see here. Still working that hinge pattern, but my feet and ankles are not taking on the impact because I'm not jumping and running in the same sense. So this is an easy way to modify your training so you can still be explosive, be powerful without having to deal with all those different ground impacts.